Oh, I just
All right, so welcome everyone. This is class number 1 of the second series, level 2, but it's class number 5 in the whole progression. So they do go together and they build on each other. So I think it's more accurate to say it's class number 5 because we're building together. We've been in this container for a month, and it really is connected through the quantum field, if you so to speak, through the geometric structure that connects us all. So welcome, Kaori. If you could do me a favor and mute yourself. I'm so glad you made it. And we're going to go into the meditation, and then I will talk about what we're going to do today, as well as for the next, for all 4 classes for this session. So let's do it. We've arrived. We made it here. Good job. And let's just take a nice deep breath together. Bring your attention inward. Oh, and just let yourself fully land. Taking nice full deep breaths in through your nose and releasing out through your mouth. If you want to do that, but there is no pressure. This is about finding your way through to relaxation, through the breath, through your body, just connecting however feels right for you to bring yourself here into the present moment. Allowing your consciousness to connect with the surroundings, feeling your energy body, your sensory system, bringing all the parts of you to this collected efforts of integration, this practice of presence, this practice of expansion, breathing into the grounded and expanded states. This beautiful state of consciousness that we are capable of in this human body. Acknowledging all the parts of you that exist and move about the world that we are not connected to. Connecting to all of your emotional body, your energy body, your mental body, all of the parts, your multidimensional body. There's so much more to us than what we are aware of. Breathing into a largerness of you. Full deep belly breath, connecting with your heart, connecting with a sense of gratitude to be here today, to be healthy and wealthy and blessed. In whatever way you would define those things. And as you're ready, come on back together. My goodness. So thank you all for being here. I know it's more time behind the screen, and it's a real dedicated effort to yourself, for yourself. And I feel honored to be along for the ride. Along for the ride? Yeah, with you. And hey, Jan, it's good to see you. We're going into round number 2, and I think that the learning just gets exponential at this point because it's building on itself, and it's really lovely because we have familiar faces. And I'm going to invite us all to share and check in. Oh my gosh, Kaori, you're so far away. Hi. So I want to open up the screen for sharing just any kind of check-in, a little having your energy, your energetic imprint into the group. If you didn't have any thoughts about geometry, that's fine too. We all showed up, and that is massive success, I think. So we'll do that really quickly. Hey, Ben, good to see you. Today, what are we doing? We're doing pentagons, pentagrams, heptagons, and heptagrams. So 5s and 7s. And I feel like today is kind of one of the, it's like the basic day of this 4-week series, right? So we're going to learn some of the, these are fundamental polygons, right? And we're going to just take a peek at the history of like occult wisdom and how they've used these geometries to manipulate space and time and the power of these geometries. And you know, again, just building on that, that practice of recognizing how much and how often the geometry is used to influence us, right? And as you start to build that awareness, make those connections, there's a piece of empowerment. There's you're bringing that 90% of the subconscious mind into, you know, more into your conscious awareness to say, oh, I see what's happening here. You know? Okay, and then just a quick review. The next 3 weeks, my favorite weeks. So next week we get into the tesseract, right, which is the 8-fold geometry, also known as a hypercube. This is the geometry of time travel. It is a shape that does not exist in the 3rd dimension. So that's kind of the more brain breaky class of all of them, right? Because we're going to be contemplating the nature of, you know, other dimensional realities, right? If there's a 4th dimension with a shape to it, there's got to be a 5th, 6th, 22nd, on and on and on. So that really starts to open up our consciousness towards what I call the multidimensional consciousness, right? Of understanding simultaneous time, and you know that there's really no such thing as time. And I love that class. So we'll go into that. That's kind of next level next week. And then we've seen the 64-star tetrahedron, right? The bones of the flower of life. We're going to draw a 2D version of that. And then the following class, which is the last class, we'll draw the 3D version of that. Really just good, clean fun. And those are shapes also that they look so complex, super intimidating, and you just do it line by line. And the level of satisfaction at the end of it is just, it's a real accomplishment. You know, you guys are doing, you're drawing things that look so complex. I hope you're taking pictures and showing people and blowing everyone away with what you're doing. So on that note, let's hear how you're doing. Are you drawing? Are you, how's it going? Let's hear from everyone before we get into things.
I'll kick
Hey,
it off.
Oh, all right. Ben, go for it. Yep.
Sorry, dear Joni.
No, yeah.
No, please.
I have these whiteboards that I use for taking notes while I'm on Zoom meetings all day with work. And this week during a team meeting, I just decided to keep going with my compass and then use the rest of the wet erase markers to fill it all in. But just fun with even wet erase.
Yeah. And now how did you, but did you puncture it all with your compass, or how did you pull that off?
Very lightly. I tried hard not to poke too hard. They're a hard cardboard, but you can definitely see where I pushed a little bit.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's a great use of a whiteboard, and during meetings, that just tickles me. I'm so glad. And it's beautiful using the color. Really nice, nicely done. Oh, that just makes me happy to be that someone, you know, in a meeting and drawing sacred geometry on a whiteboard. That just feels right somehow. All right, thanks, Ben. All right, Joni, you want to, oh, Leanne, go for it. We're all going to get there. So, Leanne, yep. You're off mute. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, Leanne. Oh, okay. Now you've muted yourself, so go for it. Jump on. And then Joni will come over to you. Hi there. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Sorry.
Leanne. Oh, no, that's okay.
Okay,
go for it.
I'll go quick. I satisfied. You know, I'm always a crybaby about color and art and all that. So,
wow.
So I used my pens.
Yeah.
Got that.
There's so much going on in there. That's extraordinary. Wow.
Did some doodling.
Oh my gosh. Oh, how beautiful. And all the different colors you got, that is next level to get the pens, to going on with the pens. What right. Nice. Very
and
nice.
Then I was a busy grandparent today.
Oh my God, I love that so much.
Here's what I did with my grandson. So
Yeah. That is spectacular. Oh my gosh. Because your grandson, if I've got it right, is two. No. Oh, this would be an older one, older grandson.
he's going to be 4 in January.
That's not the same grandson that was born while you were in a class. No, no. That is so disturbing. Are you serious?
I know. So yeah, so
God.
he's growing up and we did some coloring today so I could share.
Oh my God. I love that, but I don't believe you. Like he's got to be like 2.
No, time flies.
Wow, time really flies. You know what I was thinking is using the pen is a level of confidence, right? And I love that. I'm so glad you're there. That's just great. And the colors, smashing. I'll tell Amy you're going all ink now.
Okay, let her know.
Okay, I will. All right. Joni, you want to jump in?
Sure. As you know, I was in Denver last week with my mom. And so I tried to participated in class, and then later tried to do some drawing for her. I don't know if I mentioned she has Alzheimer's, and so I was trying to bring that out. She is an artist. She's a very talented artist, actually, but it didn't quite work. But I got to doodle, so and I'll keep trying with her. But I think I showed this one, and I'm continuing to work on that.
God, that's beautiful. Yeah,
it's fun, and just to break that up. And then this one I'm pretty pleased with. It's kind of perfect.
Oh my gosh.
I haven't gotten into the color. What do you call that shape again?
That it has 2 names. It's a vector equilibrium.
It's in
or it's a cube octahedron.
Okay. And so yeah,
that's just beautiful.
I'm not sure how I'm going to take that one next, but then and then I fiddled around with another, just a seed, I think.
Oh, beautiful. Oh yeah.
Playing around with that. So yeah, having fun. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh my God, I sound ridiculous, but I'm just so excited to see when everyone draws. And honestly, I just got this like zing in my heart seeing your drawings, and that you were doing that with your mom. That's just really touching.
I'm going to keep trying. She is a very, very talented artist, but this horrible disease has taken that away.
Yeah, it takes everything, doesn't it? Yeah. Sorry. All right. Thank you. Welcome back home. All right, we've got Janice, Greta. Oh, we still got a lot. Carrie, Zabby, how's it going? Janice, all right.
I'll go next. I didn't have a lot of time this week to do a lot of drawing, but I did accomplish this.
Oh, yeah.
It's not much in comparison to what everybody else has done, but this is ideal.
Oh gosh, those are, that's the 2 side by side has just such a cool. It feels like right and left hemispheres of the brain somehow, right? There's this cool duality, like polar. That's really cool. Oh, well, I find that substantial. And, as long as we're comparing ourselves to everybody else and coming up short, that's really what matters, right? So those are awesome. It's striking me. I think more and more, it's such a reflection of your excitement somehow, everybody's excitement that you're drawing somewhere. And that's just tickling me, because the activation is just inherent in that. And those are stunning. Thank you. Vector's a big crowd pleaser. I know. And it's so easy, right? It just takes like 8 minutes to do. So it's really fun. Thank you, Janice. All right. Yeah, Greta.
I didn't do anything, so I'll just confess. I'm doing an all-day Saturday calligraphy class, and I watched some videos. So I am doing something, but I'm not doing this.
Okay.
And next week I'll be at a workshop, so I'll be checking in.
Okay. All right. Yeah, doing lots of creative things. That's what we want. We just want the flow.
Yeah, it's fun though.
Beautiful. Yeah. Okay. Calligraphy sounds fun. Okay, glad you're here with all the things that you're doing. Thanks for making it. And Zabby, we can't see you, but do you want to, and Kaori, we can see, yeah, Zabby, but how you doing?
You can't see me. It's just frustrating because I did some drawing this week, despite, so earlier in the week, last week, I was getting out of the tub and something in my back slipped. And for the rest of the week, I had to use a cane. And I could walk I could walk an inch at a time. It was really scary.
You're too young.
So I know I had to go to the emergency room and they had to
Oh,
give
darling.
me steroids.
Oh no. Oh, I'm so
Yeah.
sorry.
I'm
Oh.
on the up and up now. I'm feeling a lot better. I'm walking, you know, it was just such a weird blip in time.
Mhm.
I got injured like a year ago in a bowling thing. It's like so stupid. But so now I'm like, I don't know what happened, but I still was able to draw. And I
Wow.
drew some really cool stuff.
Mm.
I made something for my roommate. He is 78. I have a
Oh,
78-year-old
cool.
roommate,
Oh,
and
that's the best.
he's cool. But I drew him something, and it's super colorful. It's just like a really big flower of life, you know, where we did the boundary around it. And
Mhm.
I did some shading. I looked up on Google just like how to shade, and
I
it turned
thought
out
of
to be
you.
it turned out to be
Yeah.
a lot easier than I thought.
Yeah. Yeah, good.
And I'm just really excited that I'm here, and I had no idea that it was level 2. I was like, what's going on? Oh, we're in level 2. Wow. So yeah,
Well, it's just the next class, you know.
I know. I love it. I don't think I signed up for level 2 last year. I'm not sure why. I think because
Really?
I was new. Yeah,
Oh,
I don't remember doing anything with what was it called? What did you just mention there?
the Tesseract or the
Yes.
64 starts. No, yeah, if you
Wait,
would have,
I did those.
you did the class. I know you did. Yeah.
Okay, I'm
You
just
know,
glad to
I
be here
just
again then.
good. You know, I call it level 1 and level 2, and I break them up so that nobody has to commit to all 8 weeks. But it's the whole thing. It's just a whole series, you know.
That's what happened.
You
That's
did it.
exactly it.
You did it. Yeah. Yeah. I knew you were
Yeah.
here. Well, I'm glad you're doing better. That's one heck of a week.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Now you
Right, it
have to
happened
move.
right on the solar eclipse, right after Friday
Oh,
the
I
13th. I
know.
woke up,
God.
solar eclipse, just boom, my back.
Yeah.
I couldn't walk. I was
Oh, they
scared.
just
Yeah.
wanted you to slow down and stand still because we are in the
That's
eclipse
exactly it.
window. Everybody just seatbelts fastened, just one breath at a time. Lots of energy going on.
Yeah, that's the message. Just be slow, you know,
Slow. Yeah.
slow and flowing.
Slow and flowing. All right. There we go. That'll be our mantra for today. Glad you made it. Good to see you, not see you. And if you figure out your camera so we can see things,
I'm
that's good.
trying. It's so weird. Maybe next week.
Okay. Sounds good. All right. Kaori, how are you doing? Hello. Are we going to be able to hear you? Oh, we can hear you.
Yes,
right.
last week we did this.
Okay. Yeah, nice and
but,
big.
Then I did. Wow, the
Oh.
color is not coming through. Hang on.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Oh, well, it's a
Wow,
little washed out. Okay, there we go.
it's really bad.
Well, we can get it. There's
Oh,
some
wow.
shading. Yeah. It's
No,
just
it
your
is
light is.
orange
Oh, there
and-
you go. There you go. Yeah. Hold it on a diagonal,
Okay,
tipped
well-
down to you. That worked. That's okay.
I have a strange setup today, so I don't have a camera, normal camera. That's why. But anyway, I did some stuff.
Yeah. Is
and
that
I
like
didn't know that everybody will be here. So it's really nice to see everybody.
Yeah. Is that a 23 by 29 pad? The paper? Is it? It looks bigger than a 11 by 14.
Oh, it is 12 by 18. I couldn't find 11 by 17, so I did a little bit bigger.
12 by 18 is great. Yeah,
12 by-
that's awesome. Yeah. All right. Yeah, that's great. I just love the pads getting bigger and bigger. That's what happened to me. I was living in my RV and I was using a 23 by 29 pad to draw on. It was just it was what had to happen because the geometry, that's what we were doing. So Kaori, good to see you. I'm glad you made it. And I want to share with you guys, hang on one second. I decided I'll share my drawing just so that I'm with this everyone, because y'all know that I draw crop circles, that I have a class where I draw crop circles because I love them. I think I mentioned it. So I decided that I would be drawing with everyone, that I would also draw, you know, because if I'm going to ask everyone to do it. So we do a lot of geometry. This is one of the crop circles. This was a tesseract. So this is kind of what we'll be doing next week, but not like this. This is a little complex. So this is one of them, and that's really fun. And a lot of them are geometric, but there's one we did this Saturday, and it's really crop circle-y. Like it's what a crop circle looks like if you would imagine one. So it's this here. I'll do this really quick. It's this formation, right? So it looks really like a crop circle. And then it's a month-long class. So I was just excited and asking the different crop circles what they wanted to do. So then we get to draw them. And isn't that just fun? It's just a whole new level of geometry because it's all in there. So I just wanted to share with you guys that I am drawing as well. And
that's incredible.
Isn't it fun? I appreciate the inspiration with you guys drawing every week. I'm like, I can do that too. I'm so inspired. So yeah, and then, you know, that just takes you out into the cosmos when you're drawing those. All right, rolling up the sleeves. So we're gonna do pentagons, pentagrams, heptagons, heptagrams. So we're just gonna dive in. One of the things that I really love about this class and these polygons, they're called closed polygons. And there's one slide about like what a polygon is: complex, irregular, and regular. We don't need to think about it too much though. But the main piece is that they are closed geometries, right? Which means that you can start at one point and do an entire star and end at the same point. And this has some pretty profound implications, I would say, spiritually, metaphysically, whatever category you want to put it into, because, you know, there's the saying of like, when one door opens, when one door closes, another one opens, right? And it's kind of like a little saying of, oh, that's nice. And we know it's true, but it's also like, maybe we don't believe it. We want to believe it. Things, you know, endings can feel really hard. Somehow this geometry has helped me really understand the truth of that and like really get into it in a lived way. And that's been really helpful. And I don't know how. There's a lot of reasons. There's a lot of things and a lot of ways that we don't know how the geometry works, but this is one of them. And we'll do a little meditation just to kind of like feel into that at the end with the heptagons, 7 sides. All right, so getting into it. Let's see. So really quick about polygons, right? Here's 1, 2, here we go. So there are a bunch of different polygons, right? There's regular, irregular, simple, and complex. And before you have any kind of trigger about some of this stuff from long ago, I'm just telling you like the math definitions of the polygons that we're doing today. So polygon is just a 2-dimensional plane shape with straight lines that is defined by the number of sides, right? So the pentagon has 5 sides, heptagon 7, octagon. Next week will be the eightfold geometry, and on and on. And so a regular polygon has all angles equal and all sides equal, right? Nice in proportion. There's that. It's a different kind of harmony. And if it is anything other than that, it's complex. It's a complex polygon where, you know, different sides, there's different angles and different sides and lengths. So a simple polygon has only one boundary and it doesn't cross over itself, which is the pentagon, right? It's the boundary. That's the way to think about the simple polygon. The complex polygon is a polygram. Right. And the way not like it even matters, but the way to remember is that the polygons are the boundary on the outside and the polygrams are the stars that cross on the inside. So simple doesn't cross itself, complex crosses itself. Polygons outside, polygrams inside. And you know what? I'm going to transpose that 20 times today. So just bear with me, because polygons, polygrams, sometimes I catch myself, but hopefully I'm getting better at it. So then the piece about closed figure, right? We'll look more at it, that it can begin and end at the same point. But then the other reason polygons are cool is because they're another study in infinite fractalizing, right? They will just repeat themselves again and again. And that's part of the fun when we're drawing them. You can find a shape within a shape within a shape. And it's really, the art can get particularly creative. So Pentagon and pentagram up on the top left, right? We're going to look at some of the symbolism of that. We'll draw both of them. And then there's 2 heptagons, right? There's the center shape, which is an obtuse heptagon. absolutely the heptagram. The heptagram in the center, the star is obtuse, which just means that wider, softer angled. And then the one on the top right is the acute heptagram, and that's more pointy, sharp, acute edges, right? Those are the two heptagons. And then second row down, there's the octagon, and that's actually one version of the tesseract there, but we'll look all at that next week. And then there's nonagons and decagons and on and on and on with the gons, right? But we're going to focus on these. Honestly, if I could, and I've started to lengthen the class out to 10 weeks because there's so much with the polygons, like 9-fold geometries are super cool. I'm hoping to sneak some in. They always, sometimes we don't make it, but polygons and what's the word I'm looking for? I have impermanence in my head. No, but it's the word where they're everywhere. Ineffable, not that right. Anyway, they're everywhere. What's that? Ubiquitous. Thank you, Ben. Yes, ubiquitous, woven into everything. And that's what we're going to keep saying over and over again so that we really get to that point. This is a representation of the geometries used in the Hermetic order of the Golden Dawn, right? And so many mystery schools, many occult practices use geometric structures because they are fundamental in ways of harnessing space and time. And we're going to look into this, but this is, the 7-fold geometries, right? We're talking about the 7 Hermetic principles that can be studied for enlightenment, right? And to transcend the mundane elements of our consciousness. So starting with the pentagon though, and the pentagram, what this geometry does is it alchemizes, it brings all 5 elements into harmony. You know how we saw with the Platonic solids, when you leave out that 5th element of ether, you drop most of the potency, right? The material world is wonderful, but to bring in ether and energy and prana, that's how you really begin to manipulate time and space. And so it's calling on all of those elements, and it's got the sacred mathematics, it's got the golden ratio. They are infinite structures, so they're really tapping into all of those levels of consciousness. You've got them throughout Kabbalistic traditions. Freemasons will look at the 7 Hermetic principles, and really these are the most accessible geometries to sort of our waking consciousness, right? These are fundamental and ubiquitous. And in a lot of religions, but in paganism specifically, you've got these geometries used for spell casting and invoking and banishing and all sorts of practices. And it makes you wonder, how is that possible? This is just a 5-sided star, right? But when you look at it, and honestly, this is like a 5-minute overview of like centuries and thousands of years of using these geometries. So I want to encourage you to go look a little bit more at how the magical arts, how they've used these shapes. And with the 5 elements, you can see each direction incorporates that. Also, as the human body, right, you can actually, there's a lot of invoking ceremonies where you can, use our body, the star down to the legs, up to the arms, down to the legs, like we are a star. And so you can invoke the energy of our physical form and turn things on. How do I want to say that? Access the energy that just lays dormant in us. 90% lays dormant. So using that geometry to let's see, manipulate, control and effect, right? And these are things that our work, we can barely conceptualize of magical practices that use geometry, right? I'm just sort of saying, yes, this happens. And most of us are like, wait, how does it happen? So there are top secret practices, right? This is what mystery schools were about, is those techniques and, rituals with paganism and long-standing traditions of let's see. I guess I want to say occult wisdom, but that I've used that too much already. Just these ways of harnessing the natural world, right? That's really where power is. So remembering that they've got the phi ratio, they've got this infinite, beautiful harmonic, connected to them. The pentagon and the pentagram have the pi equation as well. They've got phi, they've got pi. There's so much beautiful mathematics in these shapes. And I don't go into the math too much, but if you even start to look at the relationships of the angles, right? How the sharp angles are 36 degrees, the open angles in the next degree of open angle is 72, the wide obtuse angle is 108, and the relationships between those 36 doubled to 72, 36 and 72 is 108. Like, I wish I had time to go into the math more, but what I will say is that through geometry, I have learned to appreciate and really enjoy math, because learning it this way and learning how their proportions and the harmonics are mathematically based, it's exciting. I mean, it's for me, just learning that universal language, the universal principles, right? That's another thing. It's connecting you through mathematics to a cosmic consciousness, a larger understanding, of the big picture. And this is what it can look like fractalizing, right? This is a pentagon fractalizing infinitely inward, and then it can also infinitely expand outward. And we'll see, we're going to draw the star. You'll see how that happens, and we'll get a glimpse of it. But here's another example where it's just this self-repeating pattern on and on. And you can see a lot of cool graphic design with this. It gets harder when you're doing it by hand, but the more you go into understanding the pattern relationships and the harmonics of this, I really want you to go look a little bit more at pentagons and pentagrams and how fun they are, how they are connected to the platonic solids, right? You've got pentagons in the dodecahedron. What does that even mean? These fundamental building blocks, but it's all related. Everything we've done already, everything we're going to do, bringing in the pentagon. And then we're going to look at how it was abused because it's so powerful, right? So I think it goes back before 3500, but this is where they start to see the records of these basic shapes. And the most recent history, like looking at how it's been abused in the last 200 years, you can actually trace things back to this gentleman, this deacon Alphonse Louis Constant, who was kicked out of the church for dabbling in the, I won't say dark arts, but magic, because back then that was sacrilege and punishable by torture things. And so he was kicked out, changed his name to Eliphas Levi, and wrote Transcendental Magic, right? So really started encoding, or no, I'm dropping my words today, sorry, writing, coding, transcribing, like bringing the information into sort of the public domain and larger consciousness. And so Transcendental Magic had the premise that a reversed pentagram with 2 points projecting upwards is a pentacle and a symbol of evil, and can attract dark forces, right? And that using that shape, you can cast spells, you can use that symbol to influence. And he linked the pentacle, which is the upside down triangle, with evil, right? And so it started to permeate our consciousness. And by mid 20th century, you can see how the geometry was used to reinforce fear and terror, right? So you had Anton LaVey creating the Church of Satan and using the pentacle. And it was all together culturally with like post-World War II, post-Vietnam, like Hell's Angels, all of this, I don't want to associate Hell's Angels with satanic ritual, sort of death, there some type of darkness, and a lot of fear programmed into our society through this shape, right? Using it, like creating the Church of Satan and using a geometry. The number 666, surely everyone knows to freak out a little bit about those 3 numbers. Like, what kind of programming is this? Like, associated with satanic cults and serial killers. And just the point of all of this is to look at a geometry, a neutral shape that was used to program our consciousness, right? And when you start to break it down, you just, this is a geometric structure that was laden with a construct that was effective, and it kept us all away from the geometry. It's so ironic because it's powerful enough to keep us away from something that's so powerful, you know? So again, like starting to question how symbolism has been used, you know, over the years for us, with us, against us, all of that. And I mean, just some of the obvious, right? Like, it's really everywhere. And do we stop and think about it? Probably not, because we just live life. But sometimes those moments of curiosity where like something seems anomalous, like, oh, why would they do that? You know, why is that numerology worked into something? Is there an association? Like, just more curiosity about the use of numbers and shapes for, you know, collective purposes. And then, of course, on the positive side always is the crop circles. I have to throw them in. I have to mention that, you know, some of the communication comes, you know, where did the information for the geometries come originally, right? Is there a source beyond us? And just opening up awareness on the I would say dark side, but in the larger picture, we don't know what dark and light is. But then on both ends of the spectrum, you know, using geometric principles to turn us on as well. So turning us off, warding off evil, calling it evil, but also contributing to our expansion and our evolution through geometry. So both ends of the spectrum, very powerful, worth tuning into. And I believe that's the end of our 5-minute overview of pentagons and pentagrams. Any thoughts or questions before we get into drawing? 10-minute long deal. We got everybody still?
I got chills when you just showed those crop circles and mentioned that, where did geometry come from? And it really gave me chills. I was like, wow.
Mm-hmm. It's worth contemplation.
Yeah.
And it is a bummer that that we don't have her camera today, because she has a heptagon. She has a heptagram on her hands, big tattoo. So maybe next week we'll be able to see it in all of your art. So we'll get into that in a second. Any other chills, reflections before we bust out the 5-sided geometries? All right, great, solid. Joni, it's so fun because the way your camera is, one of the videos that I made into a YouTube, the thumbnail is you, because the 2 of them were you, and then another one was, I think, something terrible of me. And so you are the poster child for one of the geometry YouTubes. Nobody else can see those except you guys. They're unlisted access.
Hopefully it wasn't like, or some weird facial pose. Snap.
No, I think it was a good one, but it was exactly like what your frame is now. So it's just.
And my favorite green sweater, hopefully.
Yep. Okay, everybody ready? We've got our landscape, new fresh piece of paper. Our measurements is going to be 3 inches. That's what we're starting with, because we're going to have the compass open a little wider than that. So you can totally eyeball the center of the page. We have no risk for going off the page anywhere with a 3-inch shape. So just ballparking, and let me make sure I've done everything. Yeah, 3-inch radius, and that's going to give us a 6-inch diameter. So 6-inch wide circle. Sorry if I jumbled that before.
I don't know if everybody else is having this, but my center of page is permanently marked because I've been pressing on it for so long with the compass poker.
Yeah. Yep, that does tend to happen. Now, can everybody see my screen? No? Yes? Did I do screen share?
No.
No? Great. I'm just looking at it by myself. I thought I did. Oopsie. Here we go. Okay. Yeah, that does tend to, especially with the flower of life, when you just get all of the little holes around. That happens a lot. I don't want to do that. So we want to do, you all can see my screen now though, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, great. So I just lost I had it right up there. That's such a bummer. I'll open it again. So 3-inch radius, 6-inch diameter, and yep, circle center of the page and pentagons. Here we go. And I will send these to you, obviously. All right, here we go. Everybody's got their first circle. Now we're going to be doing shabby ballparking of the horizontal line. So it doesn't have to be perfect. Just give it an eyeball, meaning we're going to place the compass point on the on our estimate of what the horizontal point would be, right? So compass point, next compass point goes on the horizontal, right? Just if you want to use a ruler, that's great. It's not going to be precise, but it doesn't matter because the shape will be aligned, like it doesn't throw off a later measurement. So compass point going on the approximate horizontal point there on the perimeter, and then creating a half arc, right? And that's going to give us the Vesica Pisces, right? That beautiful shape. And we're going to build on that. What I love is that the circle gives us everything we need. We don't have to add another shape to it. It's going to give us all the coordinates. So if we got this shape, and again, I can only see a couple of you at a time. So if you need more time, let me know. I can keep track of heads down and heads up, but that's it. All right, Leanne, this might be another one also. And Zabby, I don't want to, you might remember too, but I built it a different way before. So this might look different, or at least you've seen both ways. I don't know when. It was when your grandson was 1.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think I've seen this one, so it's kind of exciting.
Okay, great. Cool. Okay, so here the other way was just complex and annoying. And this way I find more enjoyable. All right. So then you can use that compass point where you just eyeballed and connect it with the center of the circle and then draw an official horizontal line. I really can't handle the fact that he's 4. I mean, it just feels like 2 years ago. That's going to be disturbing for me.
Me either.
I bet that's more reasonable. Okay, so we've got the Vesica. Well, we've bisected the circle on the horizontal plane. Now we're going to use okay, sorry. This is the right step. So we're going to open the compass, right? Open the compass to 5 inches if you can. Open it just as wide as you can. And it doesn't have to be precise because the circle, the measurements will be consistent in ratios. You'll see what I mean. So open the compass so that you could put your compass points at that right intersection, and open to where you could make a mark above the circle, just like you see here. We're going to do the hash mark trick. So you want to put the compass on the right side of the circle, make a hash mark above, then put the compass on the left side of the circle at that intersection point of the horizon in the circle, and make an X at the top. X marks the spot. So somehow we've opened the compass to some random width. We've made hash marks like that above the circle, and that magically gives you the second point that we need to line it up with the center point and give us the vertical line. No matter what width you opened your compass to, whether the point fell outside of the circle or even if it just fell inside the circle, you now have the ability to cut the shape in half. The more I hang out with that fact, the cooler it becomes. Right? Got it? All right. Heads up. Cool. All right. So, and we're going to bisect the Vesica Pisces down the center. Right, so just creating a vertical line between those 2 points. I highlighted them on paper. So So we're just dividing the space in order to get the coordinates for the pentagon. All right, we got that. Heads are up. Now what you're going to do is you're going to open your compass to this width, right? The compass point goes at the intersection, horizontal and vertical intersection of the Vesica Pisces. Look at all this lingo. Down here to the vertical intersection of the circle. Open to that width. If you want, you could take an extra second to try to get precise, but we know that precision is imprecise. So it's an attempt, but also a surrender. Once you've got that width, we're going to do that trick where what? Compass point stays here, stays at the intersection, and then you're going to start at the bottom and you're going to draw a half arc that goes up on into the other side, into the other half of the circle. So compass point stays at that intersection of the Vesica, and then you get this pretty half arc. But you can see it doesn't divide that half of the circle in half, right? There's the, I believe that's the 1 to 1.618, right? There's the part of the phi ratio in there. Everybody got the arc? Looking good. Wow, you guys are cruising. This is so cool. We get faster and faster. All right, we got this. Now, you're going to open your compass just a little bit more to the width between the bottom points, bottom vertical point, and that intersection of the line we just made in the horizontal line. So this is all you can see, all of these sort of top secret, like how do they know this? How did they figure this out? Well, mathematics, but these tiny little adjustments, that's what gets us the shape. All right, great. Now we're going to do that step. We did it, I don't know, last week or I don't know, recently, where we're going to make marks, putting the compass at the bottom vertical intersection. We're going to make a mark on the left side, and then we'll swing it around and make a mark on the right side. Right, so 2 hash marks on the circle. And I did not tell you at the beginning, which I apologize, to make everything light because we're going to erase everything. So there's your emotional preparation because it's always weird. So 2 marks at the bottom, and then you're going to use those intersections, those marks that we made, and those are going to be the compass points, and you're going to make an intersection up at the top left, the left side. And then we're going to do the same thing on the right side. So it's going to look, we've just now created 4 points, and then we will use the base vertical intersection as the 5th. All right, so I think I did this. Yeah, 4 points. Here's the part where we erase. Darken in those 4 points that we just made, as well as that bottom intersection of the vertical and the circle, right? So you want these 5 points. Now, you're going to erase everything. You can actually erase the circle as well. I did not do it, but you can, because all we need are those 5 points for the pentagon. So whatever you feel called to, if you want to leave the circle, it's just a cool element, but we're just going to do the polygon, which has the straight lines, not the circle.
Nadia, I don't understand why we had those inner arcs. What their value was after erasing all of this. Was that just to, that was to find new compass points?
Exactly. This gives us the measurement for these marks. Otherwise, we wouldn't know where to get those. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, good question. And this, I don't know, Zabby, if you ever saw the other one, but we take the measurements for the pentagon through the different, exactly what you're saying, through how the shape is bisected or cut up or divided, right? So that's why. Does that answer that?
I remember last year being totally stumped by this shape. I think it was the hardest shape that we created.
Oh, that's
I don't know why. I was just like totally stumped by it, and I had to go back to it a few times. And actually, it was like one of the shapes that I put down for good because I was like, this is too hard. And I was in all that moving, and now I'm here and I'm like, wow, why was that so hard? Probably because I was moving.
Probably. And so here you are, it feels easier and you're ready to do the next move. So that's great. That's great. Yeah, there we go. We got all 5 points. You got them, Zabby? Are we set?
Yes.
Okay, great. So look, we're just doing it, right? You can connect all 5 points any which way you want. I did it this way. I went horizontal first. And then I just I did the top to the, do it however you want. You're going to connect all 5 points, which is part of the closed circle piece. And we're going to do it. The way we're doing it now with the ruler, drawing one line at a time, you can't really get the sense that it is closed. You don't necessarily get the sense using the ruler that you start and stop at the same point. But you do get the sense that you've started with a polygon. If you want, you can draw the outer boundary, right? The straight lines between the points on the outside. I didn't do it here, but you can do that. And that gives you the outer polygon. And then you can create the polygram. Pentagram. And then look, we created another pentagon. And then you can create another pentagram. And then you've got another pentagon. And then you can do another pentagram. And you just can go on and on, as small as you can get, staying as accurate as you want. But I just think it's so cool how it self-replicates, right? You get the gram, you get the gon, you get the gram, you get the gon, right? So how's it going? We got all 5. Should I go back? It looks like we've got 5. We're just connecting the points, right? It doesn't matter what order you go in, right? And, precision is fun, but you get the general idea. I think I'm going to come off of screen share because y'all have the idea, right? Pentagons, pentagrams, super fast, super easy. Magic. You've just drawn the shape of magic. All right. Don't want to rush you, but I want to see them. All right, thumbs up. Can we do like a little, all right, thumbs up. Can we just do a little go around the show and tell? Joan, what do you think? Jump on and show, and any thoughts or reflections? Let's see. And you're muted, so we can't hear you if you're saying anything. Oh, and you got your cloud fuzzy background. Blur.
Yep. So
Yeah.
I make it so challenging. It's it's a pretty straight up penta.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten around to the gon.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Histogram.
And then technically, because of the way we drew it, it's a so that's the quote unquote pentacle, right? When there's the 2 points up, and then and you can rotate any of it. And then if you have any feelings about a pentacle because of any associations that you might have seen, then you can look at that differently for a minute, and you can just rotate the paper and see, oh my God, it's just a 5-pointed star when you do it this way, and kind of call out the wizard behind the curtain a little bit, Anybody else want to show and share and thoughts? Greta's jumping in here. Let me see. Hang on a second. Yeah, nice. There you go.
So yeah, that was it.
That was it. It's straight up, right? It's like, okay, we've got some geometry in here. We've got a solid little polygon.
It's a good start. Good start.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anybody else want to share? We'll go into heptagons and heptagrams. That it's a thumbs up, so everybody got it. All right. Yep. Janice, how's it feel? Leanne? Anybody? You're good. All right. All right. Satisfied smiles. Good. You can see of everything we've done, this is one of the more basics, and not to challenge that it threw you upside down last year's Abby, but everybody has a unique relationship with it, right? It does seem simple, but it also isn't. So cool. We got observations or thoughts before we move into the heptagon and more magic?
I like this new method.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. It feels a little more fun, right? There's not
right.
It's a little more obvious. The other one we had to find, and it was just chunky. It was much chunkier. So
I have this other roommate. When I first moved in here, I just want to talk about it for a second. I have this trivet, like a trivet for the kitchen, and it has a pentagram on it, and it says "Good luck." And he got so offended. I haven't been allowed to have the trivet out in the house. He's like super against it. And I had to tell him, like, look, I'm taking a sacred geometry class. Like, this is very symbolic and spiritual to me, and I'm just not allowed to have it in the house.
Yep. There it is. I mean, just that, right?
And it's beautiful trivet. It's from like the early 1900s. It's like gorgeous.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I'm surprised he was okay with your tattoo. Or maybe he wasn't. I don't know.
I don't know.
But just that, like keeping an eye out. Now you'll somewhere down the future, you'll have someone who will have some sort of reference to a pentacle or a pentagon or a pentagram in an evil way. And you'll be like, no, wait a minute.
No, it's not no.
Yeah. And then the implications when you start to double check or doubt that kind of construct is you start to do that in a larger world for the other messages that we've gotten and that we get, you know, like, wait a minute, what's fear programming? What's going on? That's my public service announcement. So we'll get into heptagons and heptagrams. Here we go. All right. Similar, only difference in the use of magic. Tell me, I just closed it out and it didn't go away. Similar, you know, using the geometry, but more than magic. This one, right? Heptagram is also known as a septagram, right? 7 sides, and such a fundamental geometry in our human story with 7 planets, 7 alchemical metals, 7 days of the week, 7 hermetic principles. So much everywhere. Again, Ben, thank you. Ubiquitous, right? It's just woven into the fabric of our society. And the acute heptagram, right, is the pointy star one. And it's a symbol of, you know, we've talked about that, magical in pagan religions. And also you find it in the Kabbalah and the Knights Templar, and what's this acute form is called the Star of Babylon. You see it in the Tarot, in all sorts of esoteric, alchemical texts, references, practices, ceremonies, right? So lots and lots of secrecy around this also because of the potency. So studying it, this is why this stuff was top secret, because of, you know, how it could manipulate reality. And as such, you know, kind of opposite of the pentagram and all of the satanic worship and associated with it, you had the 7-pointed star that became to be used as a symbol of warding off evil, right? Or protection, you know, that kind of spell casting. And so lots of times you'll see stars and badges of police force as a hexagon, the 6-sided star, but you still see them as a 7-sided star, right? Which I just found, I mean, I'm watching a video, right? And it might've been around this class, but here's your 7-sided star, Department of Public Safety. And then someone was like, oh, well, there's 7 people up there. How curious, you know, how far does it go? That was just a screenshot. And, you know, I just start seeing it everywhere. That's what happens. And I want to encourage you to start seeing it everywhere because that grows the awareness of how it's used. And I don't know, driving on one of the highways in Arizona, and there's this, you know, huge capstone to, you know, honor Lewis Cochran, apparently, but same thing, 7-sided star. And also infinitely fractalizing, just, I mean, in and out, it can repeat itself in this beautiful way. Is that, that doesn't look like that's not a septagram though, but it does the same thing. It's almost like a 6-sided. No, that's a heptagram. That's why I put it there. It's 7 sides, but it's so complex. It just threw me off for a minute. So cool. And so, you know, again, 7 pillars of wisdom in the Middle East. And I only know these references. I barely know about these things, but I do know about the 7 faces of Hathor in Egypt. Southeast Asia, you find it everywhere. You've also got the 7 chakras, right? This fundamental cosmology of how to heal ourselves, how to access all of the energy systems in our body, 27,000 nadis in the body, the Sushumna, the Ida, and the Pingala, like all of this system of understanding our human physical form, energetic as well, through 7 points, right? That is no coincidence. 7 hermetic principles, right? These are fundamental studies and ways to understand our material and immaterial existence, worldview, mentalism, correspondence, vibration, polarity, gender, rhythm, cause and effect. just to read those, I mean, Hermeticism, right? These are traditions that are ancient, right? These are the Essenes, these are the Gnostic practices of the religions of the higher studies of our reality, right? So at one point well, kind of a lot of the time I work with the polarity piece, right? And trying to, this principle of maintaining a sense of equilibrium because of the positive and negative, because of the duality, because it's always fluctuating on higher and lesser levels. And if I can just maintain a sense of balance, that's an example of working with the principle of polarity, right? It's applicable to our everyday practice and action and ways of being in the world. And it's based in the number 7. So, all of these fundamental principles that can be reduced to 7 that help us interpret our reality, it's just so important. So in drawing it, you're tapping into those larger interpretive structures, right? Somewhere again in that 90%, you're resonating with archetypal patterns. And even if we don't have the details of the disciplines, some part of us is being activated and turned on. And again, here's the obtuse, the acute, the pentagram, the heptagram, all associated with evil, right? So imagine if you were to just write all sorts of positive words on all of this, of love and harmony and peace, like, that's Masaru Emoto's work, right? Like supercharging the geometry it's influential, right? The difference of the energy. I put this one here to sort of balance it out with such a different feeling, right? It's so powerful to work with these shapes. They resonate with us on cellular deep levels, just like, the flower, the seed, everything we've talked about. And one thing I will just finish up with is that there was, I don't know, 1 year, probably a disturbingly long time ago, where I did a whole workshop. It was like 5 or 6 hours of all the gons, right? Penta, hepta, septa, nana, all of them. And it was so many hours and we just went all in. And the next day, you're all in Portland, so I can say I was doing my laundry and I picked up a Mercury, right? That's a couple of years ago when they still had the Mercury. I don't even know if they still do. Maybe it was the Willamette Weekly. I don't know. It was one of them. And that image was on the cover. It was a heptagon, not just a heptagon, but a heptagon with an owl beaming out some sort of intelligence. And so keep an eye out. Like, I can sit here and say, oh, these are fundamental geometries of magical mysticism, esoteric knowledge. We can't quite understand it. It's part of the magic. And so keep an eye out for your material world reflecting that back to you in magical ways. Leanne's nodding her head. She's seen this happen before, but it starts to, as you build these shapes in your awareness, it's going to come back. You'll have some kind of reference. You'll see heptagons, the number 7. It's kind of a fun game. So keep an eye out after we've got this expansive conversation about heptagons, septagrams, heptagons, all of it. All right. Thoughts or questions, personal experiences with 7. That's really a bummer that Zabby can't go like this today. But we will get right into things. Everybody feels ready. We're going to do a little meditation with the heptagram. All right. Good. Fresh piece of paper. So what are we doing with this one? What's our radius on this one? It is same thing. So you don't even need to change your compass. Oh, well, you do, because we shifted it for the pentagon. So 3-inch radius, 6-inch diameter. And again, you can approximate the center of the page because it's going to be contained within the circle. You can also do a bigger one if you want. It just depends on how wide your compass is. I don't know why I didn't go bigger because it's fun. And since that's an 11 by 14, you could definitely, is there a reason you can't? Yeah, no, like if you want to do 5 inches, I think that's right. Yeah, I'm going to make this one bigger. I'm going to go back and fix this because it just, however big your compass goes, that's actually because you're going to use the measurements within the shape. You don't have to, it's scalable. Here's part of the that fractalizing nature. So if you want 5 inches, 4 inches, 3-inch radius, as long as you stay on the page, and then ballpark and put your first circle there in the center of the page. And nice and light, because again, a lot of it gets erased. Most of it, all of it, except for the points. All right, we got our circle. Looks good. All right, great. Nice deep breath with the circle. We could even set an intention, but we're going to do that in a minute, I think, with the meditation. So we'll do that in a second, but always the practice of setting intentions when we draw geometries, and we get better at that. We'll do it in a second. Approximation as well. Just pick the vertical bottom like we usually do, and you can draw a half arc. All right. Technically, as you all know, we could just make the hash marks on either side of the circle, right? But we do the whole arc, the half arc, just perhaps out of pattern and habit. Maybe I should change that slide as well. So we've got this, and again, here's the Vesica Pisces, right? This is so beautiful. The shape gives us so many measurements. Go ahead and, wow, that's really heavy there, but you want to draw a nice light vertical line connecting those 2 points that you just used. One at the bottom vertical for the arc, and then the center. And you can extend it out past the circle. You don't have to. I'm going to redo this because I have like excessive markings in here, because by the time we get to this class, like we're all professionals now, we know how to just do the hash marks, and that's all we really need for this one. All right, half arc, vertical line, looks like we've got it. Now you want to make a horizontal line, and you do not have to label this A and B by any means. I simply use it as a reference, so it comes and goes very quickly. But we're going to be using points A and points B. That's just, so you can look at the slide and then you don't have to label. You will in a second. You will label other things in a second, is how I should put that. So we've got vertical axis, horizontal axis. All right, looks like everybody's got it. I'm just trying to check around, don't want to rush. Okay. Now you want to close your compass to this width, which is and give it a pause for precision. I will say that the heptagon and heptagram does benefit from precision. So lining up your compass with the vertical and horizontal axis in the center, and then putting it at point A, right? That's the width we're going to use to find all 7 points. All right, so you've got that width, and now you're going to use that width to repeat the pattern of putting your compass down and making a mark, and then you're going to put your compass down on that mark you just made and make another mark. There's going to be 7 of them, and they will not align with the vertical line. All right, the bottom one will be just past the vertical line. And it does happen, even though it seems a little simple, it does happen where the measurements are off enough where it doesn't look like a heptagon, but I think you'll be able to get it for the most part. And then you've got those 7 points. Like I said, that bottom one should be just past the vertical line. And once you've got those 7 points, you want to darken them in so that it makes it easier to connect them. And once you've got those points, you want to go ahead and erase everything and label them A through G. You can leave the circle, but you don't have to. Like I left the circle, but all you need are those 7 points. And from the top right point, you want to label them going all the way around to G at the upper left hand. 11:15. No, that's more like 11:30 point. After lots and lots of years of drawing and teaching, I finally had someone turn me on to the idea of using the correlating clock points, right? Oh, you want 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock. Genius, always learning. So thank you all. We've got A through G. We've erased the vertical, horizontal, and you can erase the circle if you want, or you can leave it, whichever you choose. then we're just connecting them, right? You're just connecting the points. If you want to do it in a linear progression, you can start at A and down to C, and what you'll see is you're skipping every other point, right? So A to C is going to skip B. C to E is going to skip D, and this is going to give us our obtuse, obtuse heptagram. 7-pointed star. And the order is the A to C, C to E, E to G, so that you can see how you can start in one point and ends at the same point. Right.
Nadi.
Yeah.
So I feel like I got off. So when we did the measurement from that lower middle point on the vertical to the point out to what looks like E on your diagram there.
Yeah, back here or
back there. Yeah, back there. So to A.
Yeah.
Then from there, I was supposed to put my point down at A to make the next one north of that.
Yeah, exactly. So the measurement is this width.
Right.
Right. Okay. And then yes, your compass
point and then follow it around the circle.
Follow it around.
Because mine does not. Mine looks whacked, but I'm going to draw the lines and see what happens. It just doesn't look great.
You know what? That happens. This is part, I don't mean to be cheeky, but this is part of the magic of the heptagon.
Okay. I'm gonna draw the lines and see what happens. Thank you.
You know, the workshop that I was in when I was saying I was, teaching that workshop is it actually came down, half of the people got it and half didn't. And I couldn't understand why. And honestly, the part where precision kind of matters, it can actually come down to whether or not your pencil is sharp, that it works out mathematically correct. You can get it in a general way, but it can also be way more off than it should be. You're like, 7 points. I should just be one after another. It should work out. But
mine was off about 1/4 of an inch, and when I drew it, it looks pretty decent. So
great. Yep. That's what we love. It's always a crowd pleaser.
Well, I have a lead on my compass, and it isn't pointed, and it's a problem because I haven't used it as much.
Oh, interesting. All right. I mean, it's just less appealing as an instrument, you mean?
Well, I'm not getting as fine of a point because even though because of the way it is, I probably need to just run it on some paper for a bit.
Can I see it? Which one is it?
Oh, it's let's see if I can get it.
Oh yeah, that one. Do you know what? Yeah, you totally.
How square that is?
Did you put it in upside down?
No, this was new. Well, maybe it is upside down.
It's usually what the bottom of the lead looks like.
Yeah, it's kind of like, I think it's just weird. No, they're both the same.
Are they? My friends, or the lovely ladies in the class, one of them had sandpaper, right? Because it's hard to sharpen those. So exactly I think that's what you meant. Yeah. So
it's a little, you can get it at the art store.
You can get really fine. You can get a really fine sharpener for that size too.
Yeah.
It's really dinky, but yeah.
Oh yeah, I've never seen that. That's tiny.
Anyway.
Yeah.
I would say that kit that Ben sent last week in the link is similar to the one I got, the Mr. Pen kit as well. And and it's great, and it has a tiny little sharper in it.
Oh, fun.
But then at the same time, I love those leads because they're soft and usable. But this week, after 4 weeks, I actually took out the attachment and stuck it into my compass because it converts it. And I stuck in a different pencil.
Nice. All right.
And it's much more erasable because that lead in the Mr. Pen one is sort of almost oily.
Weird. Yeah. And, it's, I've like through the classes, like trying a bunch of different compasses to find the one that works for you is.
I'm showing this to Ben because this is the tiny sharpener for those those leads.
Yeah. Nice set. Yeah. And they're not the most expensive tool in the art world. So it is fun to just try on a couple, see what works for you, and not a plastic one. So you can see how flimsy. All right, let's go on. All right, here we go. Everybody got their first obtuse heptagon, heptagram. I'm getting tired. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to use that template so we don't have to start from scratch, and go ahead and puncture in all 7 points. All right, because we're going to use those 7 points for our acute heptagram. So puncture them through to the second piece of paper. And then when you get that all set, go ahead and flip your paper and label those 7 points A to G as well. Nice and light, you know, you can erase them, whatever you want. We're going to, basically, it's such a jump, right? Just turn to the next piece of paper, and we're gonna connect the dots in a different way. And it's all in one step here. So just label them again, A to G. And if you follow the progression that I've outlined, A to D, D to G, G to C, you'll see how it's a continuous form. And this one skips every 2 points, right? So before we skipped a point, now we're skipping 2 points, and it's down, you know, A down to D, and you've skipped B and C, and then D up to G, and you skip E and F. And you can tell that a lot of times when I'm talking, I'm just sort of adding to the situation. None of this you have to remember. It's all just silly, and I'll share the PDFs. And that's like the cognitive cerebral piece. And now we're going to shift and do a little meditation. No rush. We're not done yet. To get into the experiential, right? Because all of this, as silly as an overview it's just very heady. And we want to always try and remember that the geometry is tapping into all different levels, right? So we'll do some breathing, and we will get outside of our brains for a moment. What I love about the acute heptagram is that you then create an obtuse heptagram, and then that can give you the points for an acute heptagram, and then it'll give you the points for an obtuse. It's just like with the pentagon, that repeating pattern of gram-tagon to gram-tagon, which I find fascinating. And honestly, the more you get into these things, the more juicy they become. Like, things just like have opened up in a way that you're like, oh, it's just a 5-sided geometry. No, there's so much going on in it, and that's part of the magic. It's fairly.
Maddie,
What's that?
Did you say erase all the lines that we just created to draw this slide?
No, what we wanted to do was puncture the 7 points through to the next page. And then you're using the next page to do these 7 points, a different set of 7 points, right? Same points, different expression. Yeah. Did that work out?
I haven't done it, but yeah, I'll catch
Okay,
up.
great. Well, we're just going to sit here for a minute. So, right. So A to G, just connecting them in a different way to make a sharper point and a sharper star. And if you guys want, you can also draw the boundary polygon, right? You can connect A to B to C to D to E, and you'll get that boundary straight line where all of the angles are the same, and it does not cross over itself, which makes polygon, right?
I will tell you that I made a spectacular mess out of that. So I'm going to go back and retrace my steps.
Yes, all right.
You're looking at what it is not right. It's just not right. And so whatever I did, I got to go fix it.
Don't go so far. Hang on. Let me see. Why? Oh, well,
look at the triangles. Look at the triangles in the center.
But it's, the top one, it's a little off, but it's still, you got the essence, but all right.
It felt just enough off, but I get it. I'm going to go, that's a precision. I'm going to go fix it.
All right.
Don't wait for me though.
Okay. Well, we're going to do a meditation, and it might be interesting for you to use the one that you did with the meditation, because you see what it might bring up with terms of like surrender and precisely imprecise. All right. Did everybody get their, thumbs up? Everybody got their acute and obtuse heptagrams. Yeah. Okay. Janice still working on it. We got some thumbs up. All right. Ben, great, awesome. Thumbs up. Ben, I'm thinking they're playing along. What is that? Following along at home. And Kaori's got it. Okay. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna guide us. We're gonna pause. It's sort of just like drop in a little bit, right? Because there's such a different, we've all left brain here, you know, A to G to B, and now we're gonna shift and take some breaths together. So just kind of softening your gaze, just working with the geometry, starting to breathe and get back into your body and connecting with this shape, right? And sort of in a gentle way, just knowing now how much that, you know, there's so much in there in this shape, and taking a deep breath to feel the surface supporting your body, like connecting more in a physical, embodied way. And what we're going to do is we're going to tune into some kind of really gentle intention, something that you might be wanting more of in your life. We will pause with that for a moment, and then we're going to do a tracing meditation. So I'm going to give us 3 minutes-ish, and you're going to choose one of the shapes that we've drawn. So either a pentagram or a heptagram, the obtuse or the acute, whichever one you like the most. They will all work for this meditation. And we're just going to set our left brain aside, and we're going to trace the shape. You can do it with your finger, you can do it with your pencil or a pen, any which way you want to do. Once we get to that stage, it's all open to interpretation. And we're just going to breathe and trace and see what comes up. It's a practice of witnessing. It's a practice of observing what arises as we're doing a mindless practice. So taking a moment, taking some more deep breaths and feeling into the geometry, making your choice of which one you'd like to work with. And then cultivating a connection to an intention, to, even if it's not an intention, some aspect of your life that you'd like to positively infuse with your focus, making something beautiful in your life even better, or bringing something into your reality that you don't feel like you have enough of. Whatever it is, whatever you tune into, very simple practice here. If you want to make a note of it on the page, you're welcome to do that to help engage and deepen the connection with your intention. And once you've got that set, we'll take another deep breath or two and choose whatever pencil, pen, anything that you want to use for the practice. And as you're ready, you can dive in. And what you'll see is if you start at one particular point, you will return to that point, noticing that relationship and also letting it go. I'm going to play a little bit of background frequency music while we do this, and I'll be back. I'll have a few reminders to breathe throughout. I'll set the timer. Just turn on the witness and watch what arises. Deep breath. See what's arising.
what you see into rational mind, analytic assessment into your body, feeling, even feeling the geometry. Saying what you're feeling, if you're feeling anything. Sense for whatever your experience is. Once you're ready, you can slow to a stop and close your eyes. Taking some deep breaths and inventory of your experience. Assessing if you felt anything, if you had any inspiration, if there was nothing. Simply observing the spectrum. Into
sharing about this simple practice, seeing if anything happens. You think, how was it? How was it? Kind of a big leap to let ourselves do something so simple. You know, it requires turning off quite a bit of judgment. Anybody notice anything? Yeah, Janice.
I wanted to bring more calm, and so I actually I used my finger to draw, but I closed my eyes and I really concentrated on bringing the calm, and I really noticed that really did work. So that was really exciting for me. I'm going to try that again. That really worked.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
I will also send the link for that. You were able to hear the frequency tone in the back with the sounds? But no.
Not much.
Okay.
No,
Well, even better.
I volume up as high as I could, but I still could not really hear it. So
okay. Well, I'll put it in the link either way, because somewhere I believe that contributed. But that is so cool that you did it with your eyes closed and that you traced and that you focused on calm, and it happens.
I really feel it. So yeah, that was really cool.
Cool. Thanks, Janice. I'm always amazed because it's such a simple practice, but people really have some noticeable experiences. So thank you. And not, it's totally fine if nothing happened. No pressure. Joni, yeah.
I started with my finger as well, and then I moved into tracing it with my pencil, and then I added highlighter. I have reading books highlighters, and I added it. And anyway, the thing that came back to me is it's infinite motion, and it's contained at the same time. It's the beginning is the end, the beginning is the end, birth, death, all that stuff. 7 points, 7 lines. I never thought about it only being, I don't know why there are 7 points, why there would be any other number of lines, but it's anyway, here's what it looks like.
Oh, hang on a second.
It's nothing special.
Well, no, but it's nice to see it. Oh no, it's very cool. It feels a lot of movement.
Now it's officially damaged. So you're right. It was a fine subject for meditation. Thank you.
Cool. What's damaged? What was damaged?
Well, this was the one that was so off.
Oh.
It was, there was nowhere near the perfection, of course, that we saw it, but the meditation, it was a good subject for that.
Excellent. Yeah, it's the finite structure for the infinites, you know, like that.
It is very the chaos limited is what I made little notes. Different paths, you always end up in the same place. I'm not sure what I think about that yet overall, but it's a thing to think.
Different paths, you get back to the same place, but it's never the same place, but it's the same place.
You could go backwards or you could go forwards, but if you go backwards, you're going to end up where you were going forward, and
right, little scramble. I love it. There's so much in here. It's really I don't know, I'm kind of fascinated by it all the time. Thank you. That's deep. It's some deep stuff.
Let's ponder it further.
Yeah. All right. Who else? And then we'll see what we're doing next. 7:30. It feels early. We end at 8. Do we end at 8? Feels early to me. All right. Usually this takes us all the way to the end. Who else? Kaori, you did not seem super excited about that. How's it going?
I just made a mistake. This is the first mistake I ever made in this class, and I think it's telling, you know. I don't know, maybe that's the message for me. But I punctured the wrong hole. So, and I also didn't know what we were doing. I think I missed some information you were speaking, and so I was like, oh. And I also didn't want to interrupt because like it seems like everyone is, you know, in the flow. So I was like, okay, I'll do best I can. And I realized like, wait, something is off, and I have a very cricket stuff. But yeah, I'll just redo it.
Okay, well, that to me, sitting over here, seems like a powerful reflection about not jumping in and trying to clarify, you know, or not like, but you did, but that was what I heard out of that, was that you didn't want to interrupt, and somehow then that felt off for the rest of the shape. I would love it if you interrupted.
But I don't know. Everyone was, you know, following his fingers, and I'm like, excuse me, I really didn't understand. I just didn't want to do that.
Right, I gotcha during the meditation. Okay, because I was, you know, I can voyeuristically watch everyone, so I was seeing that you were in a different process, and that's its own powerful meditation too. So it's interesting, right? Like 5 weeks though, and this is the one that's a little scrambled, right? Yeah. All right, lots of reflections. Thank you though, but I get the meditation piece, but definitely maybe if you so choose, once you get the shape right, you could give yourself that meditation experience just to see what happens when you've got the 7 points.
Yeah, I got it, so I will do it on my time, like after the class. So
all right,
definitely.
Thank you. Yeah,
I can go.
all right, how'd it go?
Let's see.
Did you recognize this, right? Because from last time I remember you enjoying this. Yeah, how was it?
So my intention was I picked blue because that seems to be kind of calming. And then I did it with my finger first, and I was like, oh no, you gotta go a little bit more with that. So what I did was I just celebrated the imperfection and the imperfect parts of life, and just moved and just went with it. I thought about flow, and then you mentioned a little bit earlier about balance, and I I was just like, just doing it.
Yep. It's asymmetrically symmetrical, right? So there's a relationship, even though it's 7 and not 6. Well, I don't, it's so voyeuristic, but part of me does check in on you guys a little bit. And you just had this movement going, you know,
just moving with it, not thinking about it, just like life. You just got to go with whatever comes your way. So,
right. What's it like to do that a second time, I think? I mean, because I remember you getting really jazzed on it one time. Does it get like, what's the experience of doing it a bunch of times? Because it's kind of like meditation now. It's
right. Well, you go in knowing instead of unknowing, right? It's a little bit easier to set an intention and saying, what does this mean? Feeling a little bit more comfortable with the process, not being so, you know, maybe uptight, but just saying, hey, what can happen? Being a little bit looser.
Nice. practice brings flexibility. But what I'm appreciating about you is that each time you're embracing of it, right? It's not like, I did this before. You dive into a similar material, if not the same material, but with an enthusiasm that I feel that's inspiring to life, that really just looking at things from a new angle or not.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
Right.
Love it.
So when you talk about starting and stopping and all of those things, that made a difference too. What you were talking about, it's always different. No matter how many times I do this, it always comes out, and there's always an aha moment. And like, oh, I didn't think about that before. Oh, this felt good. This is different. So yeah, the good experience.
Oh, good. Yeah, because we're trying to open up the other other aspects, right? So no matter how many times you sort of do the same thing, you're going to receive new. Yeah.
Right. I can get just a little bit more into it each time. So I love it.
Oh my God. That's so cool. Thanks, Leanne. Pretty soon we're going to get your grandson in there doing it also. Just get that star trace. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. Let's see. We got Greta and Ben and Zabby. How's everybody doing?
So as soon as you started playing the frequency, everything cut out and I couldn't hear you and I couldn't hear the frequency. And I tried to turn it up. Yeah, it was like, so I had no idea. So I guess I didn't know that. I heard you say we were tracing, but I didn't know what that actually meant. So I ended up just really channeling my intention of self-love into the acute heptagram. And I just held my hands over it with my eyes closed and just kind of radiated that into the shape and wanted to get that from the shape. And I had two other intentions, but I can't remember them. I think self-love was just the one that was most prominent because it's something that I really want to work on for myself before I guess I can endeavor in loving someone else. Just really having that relationship with me.
Yeah.
And the shape came out really amazing this time. I have to hand it to myself to be able to follow the directions. Like it came out pretty perfect. I'm really pleased.
Nice.
Yeah.
The
I wish I could show you.
Self-love. I know. Well, maybe next week we'll get it together.
Maybe. Yeah.
But that sounds like it's a legitimate reflection of self-love, of going like, yeah, I did that well this time.
Totally.
That's perfect. And that's the cool thing is you've infused this geometry. So anytime you see it, you're going to have that association. And what I love now is that you're doing it with as you so brilliantly identified, the acute heptagon, which is also the one on your hand. So you're infusing the tattoo on your hand on some level with self-love, and it's going to have that frequency as well. I don't know if any of you have noticed, it's a solid, strong tattoo, which is how it's just like etched in my memory that she has that. So, infusing that as well, top of your hands, like self-love. All right. Yes, I remember.
Yeah, that one hurt a lot.
I bet. God, I bet. All right. Okay. Thanks so much. Let's see. We've got Ben and Greta, and then I think that'll be it. Greta, you look there, you go for it.
I was like Janice, I traced the pentagon with my finger, and calming and healing were also my words, which was kind of interesting to me that she started and it was really similar. So it is it is just good to just kind of wind down and be present. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Ben put a message in the chat.
Yeah, he said he was making dinner for the kids, so he wasn't able to do the tracing meditation. A little less contemplative to make dinner for the kids, but more active. But the idea is, and I'm just assuming, Ben, that you're not coming on, so I don't mean to not give you the opportunity. I'm assuming you will, but everybody's gotten the information. in the perfect way. And as I was listening to your calmness, Greta, and your tone, it's, you know, and this is just my own like observation and experience with it, right? And by it, I mean this meditation, this little practice, but I also mean calligraphy or art or any kind of practice where we slow down, and just drop into a sense of calm or peace or cultivate that. Like, I just become so instantly aware of like how frenetic our world is and how fragmented it's all sort of designed to, for. And so just the practice, that was like 2.5, maybe 3 minutes of quiet, and occupying the left brain, because it's monkey mind, and then just allowing for the feeling and how to cultivate those things is so profoundly, I want to say, like vital. Like, things are just getting out of whack, and it's the argument for inner work, it's the argument for meditation, but just to feel all of your everything that you all bring to this experience is really, it's really lovely to be on this side of things. And aren't you all so cool? like isn't everybody's experience just so super cool? I feel so blessed to be doing this with you. I don't know, Greta, did I cut you off at all? Were you complete with that?
Yeah, I was fine. I just turned off the light that I had at the desk, which is why I'm now in silhouette.
Okay, great. Just wanted to check. I can't figure out on a Zoom how to get the audio to the frequency. Music does not translate well through the speakers. But oh, Ben's coming up. What do we got? What happens? Let me, you want to unmute? Oh, yeah. Oh my gosh. Wait, can we unmute so you guys can say things? Because that's just so cool. Is that like a star map? What is it? It's Earth? Yeah. It looks like it's a maze. It looks like a map. Yeah. So cool. Did you make that?
Yeah. And
Oh
the
my
mic in the middle.
Oh, that is so awesome. And it's on the other side of your dad's geometry, which is super cool. Yeah. Oh, I love it. I love it. Nice. So we got a map on one side. The geometry, the other shape on that side, right? That's pretty cool too. Yeah. Do you guys draw together? Do you guys hang out and get to draw together? Yeah. All right. Yep. Nice. Thanks, Ben. Good to see you. Hungry for my dinner now. All right, here we go. So I think even though we're 10 minutes in or 10 minutes shy, I think we're gonna wrap up because I can't fit anything else in here other than to just finish that piece about the frequency. Is anybody, I know Zabby, is anybody familiar with the frequency tones and sounds? And Leanne, I think you and Greta.
Oh, absolutely. I
them.
live for them. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
They come on. When I'm listening to YouTube, I have it, set to autoplay. And so I'll just be listening to something totally unrelated to frequencies. And then all of a sudden, boom, frequency just eases in. And I'm like, that's so nice. Like, YouTube has now remembered that I like to listen to them because of this class, that they just come on at the most opportune times.
The algorithms are nice sometimes. But for those of you who aren't familiar, the frequency tones, this is geometric harmonic sounds, right? So there's the solfeggio frequencies. These are cycles per second. This is 432 cycles per second, 528. There are harmonic tones that resonate with our own harmonies, and they can bring us into balance just by listening to them, right? We begin to resonate. And so I will send you some of my favorite links because, as you've heard, they soften, they're lovely, they're comforting, and they just make this kind of ambience, Janice, like calm, Greta, like it. Well, Greta, you've got them, so but like, I'll send some links, try them out. They changed my world. Things are gentler and softer with those tones in the background. So Oh my God. Yeah. So any last thoughts before we finish up? I will send you the PDFs, the info, and I do send those out by the next day. So if by Friday you haven't gotten anything, just check, like email me and let me know, because I don't know why. I feel like not just this class, but with a bunch, emails are missing, the Zoom recordings aren't working. So I'm sure it's some sort of nefarious attempt to block our expansion through the geometry, or it's just, annoying stuff. So we are coming up to the lunar eclipse this Saturday. So the word on the street for that, whether you're a big astrological person or not, is just gentle self-care, like allowing yourself whatever's coming up. If there's chaos, if there's gentle, if there's just anything, this is huge astrology. There's things about Jupiter and Pluto. I mean, it is a kind of a hot mess. So be kind, whatever is happening, for all of the things that can arise. And it's just such a pleasure to be with you all. I think that's it, unless we have other business. We're good. We'll see you next week. And thank you all so much. Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye, everybody.
Why? The Ring of Fire was this last weekend.
So, that was it was 2 weekends ago. That was the solar eclipse, and then this is the lunar eclipse coming up this weekend. So that it's the 2 weeks between the lunar and solar.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Take it easy.
Later, everyone.
All right. Bye.